What is up? So I just got a bit of a short and sweet dino deck profile for you here today, and this is really just to demonstrate what I've been using as I've been kind of playing and optimizing and learning dinos. So let's start at the bottom here. So I've got the two Dual Beast Argosaurus, nothing really different. I think this is probably standard numbers that you'd play with him. Then I've got three Baby One Petite. I don't really like Petite as much as I did before. I was just finding that it wasn't that useful, so that's why I've gone with this ratio. Baby, I'm always happy to see this card and loop it. Petite, the problem with her is that Pancratops isn't as good as it was before. Quatless only won it in specific matchups, so I just didn't find Petite as amazing as before, but it's still a good card, which is why I'm playing it at 1. We've then got the 3/3 misc, because these are amazing starters for your deck. The 1 Giant Rex, again, it's just a lot of 3+s, and this is quite good in the grind game, and it can get to some pretty high attack values. We've then got the 1 Pancratops and 1 Quantless. Pancratops, obviously, because you can search it, is nice, and you're generally only going to use this in back row matchups. I also do like Quatless. I know some lists have started to drop him, but I really like him for two things. I don't actually use him for the evolution build. The first thing I use him for most of the time is as a spell and trap negate. He's good in those back row matchups, which is what I would say I struggle against the most. And the second thing is obviously having those five banished dinos recycled back into your deck does give you a bit of grind, which is also quite useful, and it also means Dimension Shifter isn't as big of an issue for me as it is for my opponent. We've then got the 3 Dogger, and this is definitely the MVP. This card is amazing. I always want to see it in my hand, and if I was to make a change, I would say I'll take off 3 Shifter and add 3 more Kaijus, maybe 3 Gamma Seals or something, because it's just so good. You always want a Kaiju in this format, because there's so many decks that put these ridiculous monsters up that can't be affected by things, and you just slap a Kaiju on them, which is really nice, and it outs pretty much everything. Then you've got the 1 True King of Thosogem, amazing star, and your 2 Tyrannos, because this is your crazy boss monster that just runs over any board. Then moving into our spells, so we've got the 2 Pill, just because easy to search, great card. We've got the 3 Fossil Dig because it's busted, 3 Lost World, and 1 Diagram. Again, Lost World plus OV, very nice combo, of course. And also this just facilitates a lot of hands that could potentially be dead. This does allow you to play through them. Diagram is also nice, obviously, because it gets you to that Thosogem, and Diagram plus a little Dino is also very nice to have in your hand. Then moving on to our board breakers and hand traps, so I'm playing 2 Lightning Storm. Again, this is more for back row than anything else. You can swap this out for a Cyclone or Twin Twister if you're on a budget. We've got the Frame Gear Gamma. This card is amazing in this format, and it just really hard stops a lot of decks. I've got Shifter. I really like D-Shifter, so I wasn't playing Lancia because I wasn't playing Lancia or Draw in the main deck, because I feel like D-Shifter actually hits a lot more decks. So for example, a good deck is Orcust. Orcust isn't really hurt by Draw, but you hit them with a D-Shifter and they're completely screwed, and there's not many decks that can actually play through this. But with my build, I tend to find that I can play through a little bit because of my Quatlers and stuff, which is quite nice. Then moving on, I'm also obviously having the 3 Dogram that I've explained already because it's great. So into the extra that we've got, pretty standard again, 1 Link Reaver just for the generic combo, Masquerader to go into with excess materials, Pentastag for facilitating OTKs. We've got the Frame Lords, the Psy Frame Lords, just in case I use Omega on my turn to make my opponent really tilted. Got some Nightmares to go into, and generic good Link Force. So almost all of the Link monsters beyond Link Kariba and Pentastag, in my opinion, could be switched for pretty much anything. Then for the XYZ monsters, we've got Abyss Dweller because it's amazing, it does stop a lot of decks, and we've got Dolka and Lagia. These are both really strong XYZ monsters, and your typical board is going to be a Tyranno backed up by one of these. That is enough to stop most decks from doing anything. Then into the side deck. So what's funny is I really rarely side. I don't think I ever actually side whether I'm going first or second, because this deck is just so consistent no matter whether I'm going first or second. But yeah, you can play stuff like Droplets as well, but I just didn't put that in because again I didn't feel like I needed it. But yeah, 3 Nibiru hits a lot of decks, 3 Droll again hits a lot of decks. Then we've got a back row package of Cyclones and evenly match, and then D-Barrier. I do really like D-Barrier this format. I think it's underrated because it does hard stop quite a few decks. A lot of those like kind of insane Dragon Link combo decks or Infernovas, you hit them with a D-Barrier and they just can't play the game, which is lovely. But guys, that is my Dino deck profile. Make sure you watch my video that I released yesterday talking about dinos and what I think the problem is, and if you've enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I've got plenty more content coming soon. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.